Hey, is this thing on? The light's flashing, so that means it must be working. Hi there, my name's Akio Lancaster, and Mal suggested I make this entry for the clan's archive records. And he's the boss now, so I do what he tells me. Now you're probably thinking, the names Akio and Lancaster don't go together, and you'd be right. You see, my mom, well, my biological mother, she was a handmaiden to a rich Orokin family. But a short time after I was born, both my parents died to the technocyte virus. I somehow survived the outbreak, and the Orokin family she worked for loved her so much that they adopted me into their family as one of their own. That's how I got my last name. I don't even remember what my original one was. They decided not to change my first name because they wanted to honor my parents' choice and give me my own identity. My Orokin family was great. They loved me, took care of me. That is until the Zeramin 10-0 accident. But I hate sad stories, so let's not talk about that. And every Tenno knows what happened on that ship. Yet, I suppose I should mention how strong that experience made me. So strong, in fact, that when we Tenno were given our Warframes, it was only natural that I take up a Rhino. Nothing's better than smashing heads and busting through your enemies. The Orokin put me on the front lines during the Old War, and I remember fighting with reckless abandon. Despite beating the tar out of our enemies, I wanted nothing more than to protect my fellow Tenno from harm, to shield them from as much pain as possible. Yet, in my desire to protect others, I didn't do such a good job protecting myself from getting hurt, and sadly, I didn't always succeed in keeping my fellow Tenno alive. Yet, that is how I met her. Tossing yourself in the way of danger gets you roughed up. A lot. Much as I hate to admit it, even my thick hide doesn't always protect me from everything. As a result, I got sent to the infirmary quite often for taking one too many hits. But that's where I met Nadia. She was a Tenno, just like me. But she didn't fight. Instead, she was a brilliant healer and a doctor. Gentle and kind. As the war went on, it became almost a routine. I would fight, get hurt, and end up back in Nadia's care. Even though she scolded me for being so reckless, Nadia never hesitated to patch me back up and make me whole again. I grew to think of her as a little sister that I never had, and as the war continued, my protective nature took a shift. I put in a transfer request with the Orokin having me switch from front lines to security detail for Nadia's infirmary, and would you believe it? They actually approved my request. Probably figured I was there so often I might as well stay. But all I wanted then was to protect Nadia, my little sister, and keep her safe. And for several years, that's exactly what I did. Then, the unthinkable happened. Nadia told me she was going on a routine medical support mission, but then she never came back. I went to the Orokin and demanded answers as to what had happened to Nadia in the mission, but all they said was that she was missing. I insisted that I be part of a rescue mission to find her, that she was too valuable as a healer for us to lose, and they threw me out on my heels. That Orokin sent me back to the front lines in an effort to silence my demands for answers about Nadia. But I never stopped searching for her. My fight had changed when they sent me back. I no longer threw myself headlong into danger. I would fight. I would protect and defend as I always had, but I had to survive. I had to live, to find Nadia. The day came when the Tenno rose up and cast down our Orokin masters, and I searched for Nadia in the aftermath, hoping beyond hope that she had heard the call and would be there. But she was nowhere. When we gathered together to take the long dream, I waited, watching the cryopods to see if Nadia would emerge and climb into one. I wanted to tuck my little sister in and wish her sweet dreams, but Nadia never showed. As I climbed into my own cryopod, I finally thought before the cold sleep took me was, I don't care what becomes of the origin system, so long as that when I wake up, Nadia will be there, smiling, waiting for me. I dreamt, like all the Tenno did, for centuries. Then I woke up in a strange place, and fittingly, when I woke up, I fell flat on my face, but thankfully in my Warframe. As I stirred, trying to shake off the coldest sleep, I heard a voice. "Get up or you're dead." Not exactly the phrase you want to hear when you've been asleep for centuries, and I didn't see Nadia standing over me either, but an angry-looking Ember Prime. Yet, I must have still been hopefully dreaming because I asked her where Nadia was. She didn't know anyone named Nadia, but she told me that her name was Oksana, and that she'd been sent to get me safely off Mercury before the Grineer could get to me. I had so many questions, and I tried to ask them all at once, but Oksana shut me down. It was too dangerous to talk there. We had to move. I ran behind her as she blazed a trail through these new enemies, as I was still too weak to fight, but we made it safely back to her ship and escaped. Once we were on her ship, all my questions came flooding out, and Oksana patiently but bluntly answered them as best she could, filling me in on how the origin system had changed over the centuries that I had been asleep. She asked me if I remembered where my Tenno form was asleep on the moon of Lua, and after a few moments I was able to describe what I remembered. Fortunately for me, Oksana's clan had already rescued the Tenno cryopods from that area on Lua, and they were being stored safely inside the dojo. After being reunited with my true, handsome self at the dojo, Oksana introduced me to the other clan members. I asked them about Nadia, if they knew or had seen her, but again, no one knew anything. I decided to stick around and join the clan, get my bearings, build my strength, and learn more about the new threats in the system. The Tenno here are pretty nice too. I mean, Oksana's always burning stuff, Roho's a great leader, if a bit icy. Our clan leader Mal may be the master of mines, but he's an incredible chef. Victoria's always a joy to be around, while Austin and Connor are the class clowns. And Aaron's really good at tech stuff. They're like my family now. But it's just not complete without Nadia. I don't care how long it takes, or where I have to go, or what I have to fight. Even if I have to turn this whole system upside down to find you, Nadia, I will see you again. When I find you, I'm never gonna leave your sight again. This time I'll keep my promise to always protect and defend you. And I'll break anything that stands in my way.